15 years ago tomorrow, the eyes of the country were on Lafayette. The reason, an act of domestic terrorism.
It was late on a Sunday night. Somebody drove a truck through the doors of the Tippecanoe County Courthouse with a homemade bomb that failed to go off. News 18's Dan Klein reports for those involved. August 2nd of 1998 seems like it was yesterday.
Good evening, everyone. At this moment, Lafayette firefighters are battling a blaze at the Tippecanoe County Courthouse.
The battle went on for more than an hour, shutting down the downtown for hours. A Lafayette police officer responding to a reported smoke alarm was first to arrive shortly after 10 p.m., not ready for what she was about to see.
All the glass was gone, the doorway was gone. I observed a pickup truck inside the courthouse.
I can still picture it perfectly.
Black smoke poured from the courthouse. The smell of diesel fuel hung in the air. Investigators later determined there was an improvised explosive device on board the red Ford pickup truck, along with a pair of 55-gallon drums filled with an accelerant that had been deliberately driven through the 4th Street door.
I could be right next to you and not see you at all. It was that pitch black.
But finally, shortly before 11:30 p.m., the fire is extinguished.
I'm very sick to think something like this happened, to the nice courthouse.
Most of my memories are still pretty vivid.
The next morning, the bed of the pickup is visible. Dave Fagan was the firefighter who pulled the license plate the night before. John Knuckle remembers getting chewed out by then-Sheriff Dave Murtaugh for calling it a terrorist attack.
That hit the news immediately, and the sheriff come back and he says, "You're not to be saying anything like that. You're not to be discussing that." And I said, "Well, that's what you told me."
Detectives later find the truck had been stolen from a Wabash National employee 4 days earlier on Wednesday. Around the same time, almost 175 gallons of gas was stolen from the Indiana Crop Improvement Association on US 52.
And they said, well, there's a bomb in the building, and it's still, you're looking at each other and go, oh, you're kidding.
If it would have gone off, it would have taken several of us out, plus several buildings.
State police, FBI, and ATF agents soon arrived to help sheriff's deputies. A number of theories, fueled by physical evidence and hundreds of tips, led nowhere definite.
It wasn't something where a person just decided last minute, hey, I think I'll put a truck through those lower two doors and try to burn the courthouse down. It wasn't anything like that. There was some preparation that went into it.
Jackie Becker focused on trying to save anyone inside. Didn't see anyone as she pulled up, but other witnesses reported seeing a white man in his late 40s, around 6 feet tall and balding, leaving the scene. Others also saw a mid-'80s white Ford pickup truck with a wide blue stripe leaving a parking lot near 2nd and Main Streets. Neither man nor truck was ever located.
Do you think it's somebody local?
I believe it is.
Because the sheriff believes the would-be bomber knew the area and had a strong motive for his actions. Though he says no bomb threats were made ahead of time, no one claimed responsibility after. It's hard to believe for those involved that a decade and a half has gone by.
Do you still think about it as you drive by?
I do.
It seems like yesterday. I mean, it really does.
It's a memory I won't forget ever.
Because no one was killed, the statute of limitations for the crimes ran out 5 years ago. Still, investigators are just as interested in finding out who did it and why.
Somebody knows and has that piece of information that might just be what we need to bring closure to this case. We are very, very close and just need that little link.
When all was said and done, the burned molding removed, the melted chandeliers replaced, the damage totaled more than $217,000. But everyone agrees it could have been worse.
It was still burning inside.
I would have sworn we were going to lose the courthouse that night. It was that bad.
A fire on the ground.
We all were very, very, very lucky that it wasn't worse than it was.
It was Dan Klein reporting. Former Tippecanoe County Sheriff Dave Murtaugh declined our interview request. He says he is bound to silence as a former U.S. Marshal. Because no similar acts have been committed in the last 15 years, Sheriff Tracy Brown says it's very possible that the would-be bomber is either in prison for another crime or dead. If you have any information about the incident, you're urged to call the Sheriff's Office or the anonymous We Tip hotline, which is 1-800-78-CRIME. Tomorrow night on News 18 at 6, Dan will explore how the incident changed security at the courthouse and whether a county official who opposed the changes at the time has since changed his mind.